All right, welcome back. So today we are on my drag cars that I'm going to be getting rid of. So sad to see, but they're out of 9. I have to get rid of 3 of them, and I do have one speed car that's going to be in this video, but we'll see that in a little bit. So this is my Chuckworth RC drag build, mid-motor drag build that has got a ton of money in it. Ton of money and a ton of time. And I think that's one of the main reasons I struggled getting rid of any kind of speed build or any kind of drag build, is that I started this channel doing these drag builds. This is before RTRs were even available. I was doing these drag slash conversions. So we're gonna go ahead and pop the top on this one, and this is the first one of my drag stuff that's on the chopping block. And there's a couple that I can't get rid of, like watermelon is not gonna go. That's a special RC to me, because of the whole drag launch system that, you know, I did in that thing. And then of course a red fox body Mustang. That's one that's not going as well, because that one holds some sentimental value. There's nothing special in that. It's a basic slash conversion, but that was one of the first RCs that started my RC channel. And for me, racing fox body Mustangs, that RC is special to me. So I mean, they're all special to me in their certain way, and there's a couple of them on the chopping block that I think you're going to be surprised that I'm getting rid of. But here's the IROC custom painted body, Proline body. I painted all of these RCs. So well, one of them was a unique paint job, like a collaboration. But here's the Chuckworth RC. This is when Chuckworth RC was in California. I think since he has moved out of California, which I don't blame him. But this has a whole Tekin system in it, and very expensive system, on top of having the Tekin monitor and tuner module in here as well. Metal body steering servo in here. This is on my Futaba. None of these are going to come with radios. I'm keeping all my radios for my drag stuff, because most of them are on the Futaba. If not, I bound them to a toggle switch for my drag launch control that I did on most of them. So I did all these builds on the channel. You can go check out the Chuckworth RC mid-motor build. This has a Proline transmission, very expensive transmission in this thing. Since then, Chuckworth RC has built different chassis for this. And when you get one of his chassis, it comes in a flat vanilla envelope that has one piece of paper in it and a bunch of cutout pieces in it, and some hardware. But you have to take a slash to do this conversion. And then I ended up having to modify some stronger plastic axles for the rear. I did buy a Proline transmission for this one, and then I did my own wheelie bar system in this with some 3D printed parts that I had to pick up, because I didn't buy Chuckworth RC wheelie bar with this thing. A lot of modifications when it came to this. This even could have been the Chuckworth RC wheelie bar upgrade kit. I just can't remember. I know that, you know, I had to spend $100 on the wheelie bar system and $150 plus tax and shipping on the chassis. And then with that, beadlock wheels, front and rear on this thing. You know, $200 set of wheels and tires. So these have got the Proline reactions in the back and the Hoosiers up front on the tires. I believe the front are purple compound. They could be orange compound. But all that's on the channel. If you want to see this build, you have to solder all this stuff up yourself, mount everything yourself. It's all your own electronics. Like I said, this chassis just comes in a vanilla bag, and I spent a lot of time. Hot racing shocks up front that are fully modified, and you can see how stiff that is. And that was done on purpose. And then how soft the rear is for the squat of the rear versus how stiff the front is. Two different shock brands, two different spring rates. This is all custom by me. Proline body mount system on this. Everything on this thing has been fully modified by me. It's something that takes a lot of time, a lot of testing, that kind of stuff. I got it going pretty good. But you know, there's always room for improvement. There's just a lot of money in this this build, and having a mid-motor setup was something I wanted to try, because all 9 of my builds have all been built different. Nothing's built the same. And I'm not sure if I used Rustler front or if I used a Traxxas front shock mount. That's something else I played with. Bell crank systems, all nice and smooth. This RC works really well. Proline slipper clutch in this, custom pinion, and you can see it's just a flawless setup. RPM rear arms, stock front arms, which could be bandit arms. So I've sucked in the rear wheels and I've spread out the front wheels. It could be Rustler or Stampede front. It's just one of those things I was playing with. And definitely love the beadlock front wheels. This was something somebody left in the comment section. RC Guy Garage bought a set of these, and I bought a set of these, so they will be going with this. This will be probably one of the more pricey builds for my channel. I can't say the most popular, but it's definitely the most pricey build I did. Spared no expense building this thing and dialing everything in. So with all that said, this will be up on the chopping block. I'll put some links in the descriptions for the, or not links, I'll put some photos in the video showing the Chuckworth RC different style chassis that he has now. Proline transmission, show you what that is now. And then everybody knows about the Tekin system. This was their RS Pro system with a G4 Eliminator motor in this thing. Brush motor, I believe. It is censored with the sensor wire. And then the hot wire system from Tekin, so that you can put this on your phone and you can dial in your tune, which is really for drag racing the way you want to do it. XT60 on it, and I will be pulling the receiver and just leaving the wires here if it sells. If these things don't sell, I'm not too worried about it. What I have left to sell with my speed and drag stuff, if they stay, they stay. prices, you know, are very reasonable because you can't factor in your time on this stuff. Time painting the body, you know, some people can paint bodies a lot cheaper than I can. I put a lot of coats of paint. I mix different colors with it, and it costs money. Those little cans that I buy, very expensive. But when you're bumping into stuff and crashing into stuff, my paint's not flaking off. And there's a reason for that. It's years of painting bodies where I've learned what works, what doesn't work, how you have to prep the body, what kind of paint to use for it, and how to get that paint to stick without, you know, chunking off. I want to say my watermelon had a chunking issue because I used some standard paints on that, which is fine. Watermelon's just special to me. But this is going to go, but it's not going to be cheap. This is going to be a $900 RC. So first person that want to pay 900 bucks for this thing, it's yours. So all my drag stuff and speed stuff is very, very special to me. And I'm not factoring in like pricing based off sentimental, because I don't really have sentimental RCs other than, like I said, the ones that I'm keeping. I've either beat the hell out of them and they're just not worth selling, or they're just, you can't put a price tag on some of the sentimental stuff that the kids had when they were really young, or RCs I built way back in the day from scratch, kind of like this, that are sentimental to me, to where I spent, no matter what it cost, I just spent it and built it. Even if you add up all the parts into this thing, and then you add up the months it took me to get this thing perfected and right, and ordering parts and that kind of stuff, it's not one of these. Or if you want an RTR, go buy the 199 special right now. You'll have a blast with it, but it's nothing like a full custom build like this RC is. But there you go. This one is gonna go. This one has not been crashed, so I do have one RC that was crashed, but it is repaired and in excellent shape. So let's grab the next one, and we'll go from there. I will put an email, so email me, and the way that works, you send an email, send me your phone number with it. If you email with no phone number, I move on to the next guy. The first one with the phone number in there, I will be calling you, and we'll talk about how payment, how shipping's going to work, because shipping's on you guys, and how everything's going to work, and that way there's no scam because you're talking to somebody on the phone. But yeah, here's my IROC, and I love this IROC body. But like I said, I hadn't finished dialing this thing in, and I was extending the wheelbase, and I really was playing with where the transmission was versus having it in the rear, having a lot of weight in the rear, having some weight in the front, locking the front shocks to carry the wheels, and that kind of stuff. It's really, really a cool hobby to build one of these drag cars from scratch. But if you don't have the time or the patience to do it, here's your chance to buy a fully modified drag car for 900 bucks. Let's move on to the next one. All right, so here is my Chevy II. 3-piece body on this thing. This was the second RC I built on the channel. I built this and the Mustang at the same time, and I did my first RC video was showing this RC compared to the Mustang, which one you guys like better as far as the bodywork went. It was Ford versus Chevy, and it's something that was very, very cool. Now this one, I spent a lot of time dialing it in, just like all of mine. This has the Ruthless wheels versus the bad racing wheels over there. This has the Traxxas front wheels on it right now, but I will be sending the Ruthless wheels, as you see, and we'll get a better look at that. The fronts along with these wheels. This one's set up light in the front, heavy in the rear. Airbrush body, all the decals on it, very detailed, tinted windows, a lot of money into paint and body onto that thing. I think I'm $250 into that body. But all the Ruthless wheels that I got for this thing were limited production wheels. And here's the matching set that are glued for the front of this RC. So that's going to be going with it. And I have a fat tire, lower profile tire on it. So the nice thing I like about aluminum is you can play with weight. You need the front a little lighter, you put plastic wheels on it. If you need them a little heavier to keep the front down, you throw your aluminum wheels on it. And it really, depending on the track surface, will give you that weight transfer to the rear to keep this front end floating, but still have some steering. Now, this one has a stock Traxxas shocks all the way around. This has the low center of gravity chassis on it, the low center of gravity chassis kit. And then I ended up going with an aluminum transmission case on this one with the Proline gears on the inside of this thing. And then of course the wheelie bar, T-Bone Racing, I did this. And then an aluminum wheelie bar with the Traxxas aluminum wheels. The reason I did this bumper deal is if you spin out, don't want to smash and don't want all this weight slamming into a curb or slamming into something and damaging the motor or anything back here. So having the aluminum wheelie bar that really is set up, is bent for how high I want the front to go before it sets back down. And yeah, that's it. Electronics weren't too special in this thing, but I do have the Hot Racing spur gear on this thing, custom setup pinion gear, and that has the sleeve in it because this a 5mm drop down to whatever this motor size was. So this gear will work on bigger motors in here just by pulling the little sleeve that I put in here, and that gives me a lot more pinion choices. These little sleeves work out good when you're playing with different motors. So this was a Takeoff ESC 8BL. This was the, can't remember what this ESC, oh, it's the Quick Run. Hobby Wing, I think this was the Quick Run or Easy Run system back then with the Castle motor on this thing. It is, I am not running censored on this one. So it does have a receiver in it, but like I said, I'm keeping the receivers. If it has a Traxxas receiver in there, then I'll leave it, and I believe this one does. Seeing this aluminum thing back here, this might have a Traxxas receiver in there. If it does, I'll give the controller and receiver with it, as long as it's bound to one RC. Just not going to guarantee that. But you can see droop is set up on the front, not so stiff on the front, but this has the Integy or Entergy, however you want to say it, aluminum case in the rear, and those have to be ordered either for the Proline trans or the stock trans. So I just wanted to add some weight to get more traction to see how that worked with a lighter front end, and then you can play with weight plates up here with the screws that are up here. You can play with weight plates that they make for these things to keep the front down. Same thing, Proline body mounts. So I definitely, this is a good running drag car that gets you out of that ready to run setup, because this is a fully modified, and these were built before the ready to runs were even out there, which I think is pretty cool to see something like this. Custom aluminum Traxxas upgraded steering links and upper links. Same thing in the rear, aluminum links on the uppers. Really a cool setup. So with all that said and done, is going to go for $650. And like I said, they're not, you can buy a ready to run a lot cheaper than buying one of my builds. I just have a lot of time and money into these things, and it's something that you just can't replace. But I'm willing to let them go at the right price. So we're going to move on to the next one. And like I said, all these wheels are going to go with it. And I will be adding a set of rear wheels, plastic, for this RC as well. Just so it has 2 sets of complete wheels. And same thing with the IROC, that'll get a set of plastic wheels as well. I think they're the Proline wheels. I have a lot of wheels for these drag cars, so I'm just going to give a set of wheels along with it. Chevy II, and I definitely loved this RC. This one's kind of sentimental because it was the first one, you know, on the channel, but I can't keep everything. I'm keeping the ones that are really sentimental to me and are actually more beat up than these things are. So there we go. That's the Chevy II. Somebody's going to get a cool drag car, I'm telling you right now. Out of these 3 I'm showing you, the next one is very, very, very special to me as well. So let's grab that one. We'll be right back. All right, here we go. The famous missing link. Now, this RC, the Ruthless wheels on this one, I was contacted by him and said, look, I see you're buying a lot of my wheels, because I bought a lot of these Ruthless wheels series. This was also a limited production run. These wheels are just not cheap in any way, shape, or form. If you guys have looked up Ruthless aluminum wheels, you guys know they are not cheap. They're awesome because they're beadlock on the back, and with the weight up front, you really can dial in your RC car, and it adds such a good look to this RC. But this is the missing link. This was supposed to be my attempt at a carbon fiber body, and I sprayed the colors in the wrong order. So it ended up coming out like this, which one of the subscribers named it the missing link, and the name just stuck. So this body is well built, this Nova body. I love the looks of this thing. This thing's amazing. It is, I have, as you see, it's not all tinny or plasticky sound because of what we've done to the inside of this body. Clear windows so that you can see the inside electronics. The other thing, the rear of it, aluminum wheelie bar, bearing wheels on this thing. The Ruthless sticker, Chevy sticker, I try to keep them pretty basic. Proline sticker on the side here, Proline sticker in the back, and just the Nova on the side. Well, it's a very good looking RC car, this missing link. Even though I kind of messed up on the way I shot the colors, it came out so unique. I love this thing. Plus, it ran into an Amazon truck and survived. No damage to the body, because that's how well it is. I slid sideways into the wheel. Body's still mint, as RC Guy Garage would say. Let's get the body off of here. It's Proline body in the body mount in the back, and then a factory pin style up front. And then the inside is all Gorilla taped on this body to help with detoning, and then the aluminum patches so that the wheels don't rub through the body, front and rear, because that's something when these tires grow, and the way I set the bodies up really low is that they'll try to rub the bodies here, especially when you turn or any of that stuff. So it's something I started doing, after spending all this time painting up these bodies. You just don't want them all destroyed. Let me get you guys a little higher. So here's the missing links chassis. This was the DR10 chassis, I want to say. This was the DR10 chassis that I ended up doing on this thing. And this has a takeoff 4S electronics from Arma in it, including the motor, the BLX motor. in the BLX 120 ESC with a XT90 on this thing. This has got the straps for the battery and a lot of shock tuning with this. So it's got a dual rate Proline spring in the rear, and then it's got modified front springs on the front that I believe were off the DR10. So when I got my DR10, the body was pretty crappy on it, which I'll be giving the Dodge body along with this one. It was that orange body. So, and this should have its own remote as well. But it was just one of those things where the DR10 for me, the shocks were really crappy in the back and it wasn't something I liked. I did add an aluminum wheelie bar to this with a 3D printed piece to adapt to this to get the aluminum wheelie bar on here. So really a good start to the DR10 platform. And then of course the aluminum wheels that really set it off and really planted this RC to the ground to get you some traction and keep the front wheels down. Me and RC Guy Garage played with this platform a lot. I did change out the diff to this thing, and it has a ball diff in it now. And of course, custom pinions. Had to drill out the mount a little bit to get the big 4S motor in there and still run it on 2S, but it was something I was playing with. So this one, definitely a cool RC. So this one's gonna go for 500 bucks. You know, between the wheels and the body and the wheelie bar, the RC's free. So there we go. Let me know down below. Missing Link is a special RC to me. Love this body. Just because it was my first attempt at doing a carbon fiber body. I did a carbon fiber roof for a movie, and I did the same concept on this. I just shot the paint in the wrong order. I was supposed to shoot, I think, the silver first and then back it in black, and I ended up shooting the black first and putting the silver on or something to that nature. But there's a whole video on painting this body. I think it's really cool. Somebody's going to get a cool drag build for 500 bucks. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the one and only Speed RC I have in this video, and that's kind of a 150 mile an hour Slash, which is this one right here. This I bought from Philip Jolly. He did a 150 mile an hour pass, and I ended up buying the RC from him, and it had this beat up body on it. It's all however he builds his bodies, but this body on this RC went 150 mile an hour, and he did sign it right here. That's of course faded to almost nothing now. And then it was shipped to me, and one of the axles were broke. So I repaired the axle, called him and said, hey, one of the axles were broke. He had no clue, because all he did was make the pass 150 mile an hour and then ship it to me dirty all the way it was. So I ended up just doing a new body for it. It's never been run. Plan were to take the carbon fiber inlays off the back of the original body and glue them to the new body. But there you go. TP motor, his 8S cat pack in there. This has the original XLX speed controller in it. Aluminum body steering servo. However he sets it up, even with his weight on the front of this, his GT shocks on it. Never did anything with this, but This is the way Philip Jolly sets up his speed builds, or his Speed Slash. At the time that he was doing this, he held the record for the fastest slashes all over the internet. And I was basing everything I was doing with my trying to get to 100 mile an hour with my Rustler and slashes, watching his videos. So I thought it was very, very cool that I can purchase something like this from him. And we're going to go ahead and let it go. 800 bucks, and you guys can have it. Dirt and all is still on it. I didn't clean it up, just left it the way it was. Like I said, I just did a new body for it, just so it was clean, because this is an awesome, awesome historic thing to the speed community as of late. All this work that he did in doing this really lets you know how to set up a slash to go well over 100 mile an hour. So if this sells, great. If it doesn't, great. I can care less. But 800 bucks, both bodies are going with it. And there we go. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll catch you on the next video. Thanks for watching.